Amy, can you continue to let people in?
Yep.
It's already 7:05. I want to be respectful to the advertised board meeting. Okay, Madam President, I think
Good to go?
I don't know if we're good to go, but I know we should go.
All right.
Just call the board meeting to order so we get.
I am about to do that. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the North Brunswick Township Board of Education. It's Wednesday, January 27th, 2021. I'd like to welcome the community members joining us via Zoom. This meeting of the North Brunswick Township Board of Education is being held virtually via Zoom in order to practice social distancing. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast via YouTube. The link for the call number via Zoom is available on our website. Any votes required during the meeting will be done via roll call for the good of the order. May we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Brockman.
Present.
Mr. Brooks. Mr. Duran Harris.
Here.
Miss James. Miss James.
I know she's on.
I know.
Ms. Hawk, I'm here. This is Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Miss Keefe.
Here.
Mr. Liguori.
Here.
Miss Rubin.
Here.
Miss Toth.
Present.
And Miss Gonzalez.
Here.
Miss James.
It looks like she's having trouble with her audio, but I see her saying here.
Okay, yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh,
great.
perfect. Thank you. Okay, we have we're all here and we have a quorum.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Tuesday, January 12, 2021, in the following manner. Posted on the North Brunswick board, on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, Old Georges Road, North Brunswick, mailed to the Home News Tribune, Sentinel, and the clerk of the Township of North Brunswick, and delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. Dr. Sikowski, I believe this evening you're going to be leading us in a number of presentations.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening. And this first recognition is in honor of School Board Recognition Month, January. We have a lot of visitors, and I believe they're all here to help me recognize our wonderful Board of Ed. So thank you for joining me, folks. And really, the resolution is that the North Brunswick Township School District acknowledges and appreciates the significant contributions Board President Gloria Gonzalez, Board Vice President Barry Duran Harris, Board Member David Brockman, Board Member Anthony Brooks, Board Member Alicia James, Board Member Colleen Keefe, Board Member Rich Liguori, Board Member Tracy Rubin, and Board Member Haley Toth. And we honor them for their service, their volunteer service for the betterment of our school district and to provide students the opportunity to grow and achieve whatever they may want to achieve, and within a equitable and wonderful school district. So on behalf of the education community, my fellow board members, most people don't know superintendents are board members. We're non-voting board members. But for my fellow board members, I want to say thank you for the support, for all of your work, your behind the scenes work, and your contributions to making this wonderful town of North Brunswick a great place to live, learn, and work. So thank you. And that's our first presentation. So congratulations. Each of the board members will receive the keys to your new car and the certificates. They'll be mailed up. Did I say keys to the car? I meant certificates. So you will not get new cars. You will get certificates, and it's the least we could do. But it's sometimes we have to remind ourselves to say thank you to the people that who've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So thank you again, board members. Now, without further ado, I see Sean Morrell. I saw him on, our athletic director, high school athletic director. And before I invite Sean to take his microphone and unmute it, I just want to say thank you to all of our coaches, our staff, all our advisors, everyone involved in the fall sports, as we were completely remote except for 1 week in the fall season. The sports that we were able to provide, the athletic opportunities, the band, the support of the band, the support of the cheerleaders, and we know the cheerleaders are sporting them onto themselves. All the wonderful opportunities for our students. It really made the fall season closer to normal than we could expect during a pandemic. So, and all of the awards you're going to hear, I think if we looked at it, I think we had 4 conference championships, but that wasn't the most important thing. It's the way our staff and students and athletes comported themselves. We did not lose 1 game for any violations. Other towns had some outbreaks and had to cancel games. So our students were able to compete for the entire spring and fall. So without further ado, it's time to honor those athletes who were recognized at our county and conference level. Mr. Morrell, can you take it over?
Sure. I'm sorry, my video is not working. I had some technical problems, but hopefully you can hear me.
We can.
Okay. I'd like to thank Dr. Sikowski, the Board of Ed, Mr. Neller, Mary Ellen, and the nursing staff and all the coaches for all the hard work that they put in over the summer and into the fall to provide an opportunity for the athletes to participate. And like Dr. Sikowski said, we were very successful, not only in our wins for the season and our performance in the state tournaments, but just successful in having an uninterrupted season at soccer level, cross country, football, cheerleading, and tennis levels. So I would like to thank the players and the parents for all their support as well in doing what we needed to have done to be successful. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the teams so that they can acknowledge their players, or the coaches, excuse me, so they can acknowledge their players. Dr. Sikowski, if you could share your screen.
Yes, I will. I do apologize.
No problem.
All right, there we go. Girls tennis.
Yes, girls tennis. So I'd like to invite Coach Fitzpatrick on, if he could talk a little bit about his players. I believe that Erin Tan will not be with us today, but he could talk a little bit about her accomplishments as an all GMC and all white division member.
Sure. Thank you very much. Erin is a 4-year member, varsity member of the North Brunswick Raiders girls tennis team. She's been our captain one of our captains for the last 2 years, and has been a singles player all 4 years and #1 singles player for the last 3 years. We did go undefeated in the white division again this year, and we also made it to the second round of the state playoffs, which we haven't done in my 10 years being affiliated with the team. Erin was 4-2 as our #1 player in the white division this year, and has done a great job all the years here. She's a great leader. We're going to miss her tremendously as she graduates and goes off to college. And this is her second time being all GMC and her 3rd year in a row being all white division. So she's done a terrific job for our team. She's a leader we're definitely going to miss. Here Patel is a junior at our school. She made all white division this year. She actually played a dual role for us this year, where she started out as 3rd singles, and then after injury, moved up to playing 2nd singles, where she was undefeated in the white division at both 3rd and 2nd singles this year. She won both state games for our team this year, and has done an amazing job working very hard on her game for the last 3 years, moving from JV, playing varsity the last 2 years, and just doing an all-around great job for us.
Coach, thank you. For a point of order, our board president is going to read one resolution, but the girls and the other athletes will get separate resolutions for their specific teams.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing. Is Erin or Ms. Patel here?
Ms. Patel is here.
I don't know. We always ask the players if they want to say a word or two. Thank you for joining us. Is it here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Hi. Would you like to say a few words? We don't have millions of live viewers, but you know, you will have close to a couple 100,000. All right, maybe a couple hundred.
Playing tennis has been a really fun part of my last 3 years, and it just helped me a lot to like have something to be devoted to, and I'm really glad to be here today.
Well, congratulations, all white division. I think over the last 2 years, it was earth-shattering or newsworthy news when we heard that the girls' tennis team lost a match, and it wasn't during the regular season. I think it was only in the state championships. So congratulations once again, Coach. Job well done, and
Thank you.
We appreciate all the efforts, and I know the girls represented themselves so well, and their families and the schools. So once again, thank you. With that, Mr. Morel.
Yes,
We
we do
have
have, next
girls
up,
soccer.
girls soccer. Coach Carroll, this is her first year as a varsity coach for North Brunswick, although she's been with us for quite a while. And
Many
just a
people
little-
know her, including myself, as Megan Noth. You
Yes,
know,
most of us do. That's correct.
yes, she changed her name. She got married, and she confused a couple of us. She's from the wonderful soccer family, the Noth family. So I didn't want all the viewers out there to know that's the same Megan Noth.
And she was, although this is her first year as a varsity coach for us here, she's very experienced. And she was also nominated as a White Division Coach of the Year. And she also won a Coach of the Year recognition from the outside New Jersey Girls Soccer Coaches Association as well. So congratulations, Coach, if you want to introduce your athletes.
Is she on?
Yeah, I am. I didn't know if you were going to unmute me or I had to do it. So
No, I give up that power, you know. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. I'm very honored to receive the White Division Coach of the Year award. However, it absolutely wouldn't have been possible without the dedication and the hard work of my players. First off, Kelly Degatano. She's an unstoppable force in whatever position she's playing. I move her really all over the field. She will go wherever I need her and will not complain. She's been my captain this is now her 3rd year. She is a 3-year varsity leader, and she's been a true leader on and off the field. She is our leading goal scorer with 21 goals this year. She has 68 goals total since her freshman year. On to Kyla Hawkins. She is a 3rd-year varsity player.
Wow.
She is our target player up top. She has made it very difficult for other teams to defend her. She's also one of our leading goal scorers and is a clear threat to our offense. Both Kelly and Kyla received the All-White Division Award as well as the All-GMC All-Conference Award. Up next, we have Charlie Warren. Her real name is Charlize, but everyone calls her Charlie. She's a 3-year varsity letter player as well. She's one of our most versatile players and a key asset to the center of our field. She has by far one of the greatest attitudes, and she leads by example. And she got all white division this year. And last but not least, we have Katie Degatano, who also got all white division. This is her first year on varsity. As a freshman, she made a name for herself in the conference. There were a lot of coaches that brought her up before the game or like, we heard about this girl. So before she even stepped foot on the field, her name was already being thrown around. Her tenacity and fearless nature has made her unstoppable in our center as well. I'm really proud of these girls and all of their accomplishments this season. I'd like to thank Dr. Z, the board, Mr. Neller, Mr. Morel for all their support. I really appreciate the opportunity that was given to me as the head coach. And I get the same team back next year. So I'm hoping
Look
for
out.
some more success.
Look out. You said a high standard, Coach. Coach, do we have any of the players on? I know maybe we could see Kelly and Katie fight over the computer. But do we have any of the players joining us to say a few words if they want to? It's up to them.
They may be on. There's a lot of people on,
Yeah,
so I
there
can't.
is. They can unmute themselves. We set the if they want to. They certainly don't have to, but
We're on.
Hi.
oh,
there
I
they
see Katie and Kelly.
The Zagatanas.
Thank God you take after mom with your soccer skill, because I heard your dad was okay when he played at high school.
I heard that.
Oh, sorry. Do you guys want to say anything? Congratulate your coach, coach of the year.
Yes.
Coach is only as good as the players around her, and that's the first thing the coach said. She thanked her players for the award. So
Definitely can't wait for next season.
well, we look forward to seeing you, and we're hoping next season we can load it up. I remember watching you gals play, and I had to worry about things like people crowding around, especially the state game against Union. The boys team was crowding around trying to support you, and this crazy virus that we're dealing with, we had to worry about separating people, right? So we can't wait to, when you're in the county finals and the state finals next year, we can all come see you and not worry about the separation of the crowd. So congratulations, girls, and great job leading the team. I don't know if any of your teammates are here. Certainly would love to see if they want to say a few words. But they're all back, so we can honor them again next year, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Great job, guys.
I do want to say this is not a misprint. Yes, Coach Carroll was the girls' white division soccer coach of the year. Could it be the same school with this boys program and girls program have the coach of the year? It would seem like to be a misprint, but you know, we knew we could never replace Coach Williston many years ago when he retired, the legendary coach, the field's named after him. But Coach Liddy came to us with a lot of experience, a great record, and boy, he never disappointed. So he didn't try to replace Coach Williston. He just tried to add to the legacy of the boys program as we welcome him on, welcome here and congratulate him for his coach of the year, like Coach Carroll, the white division coach of the year. Coach Liddy, are you there?
I am here.
Well, congratulations, Coach.
Well, thank you a lot. Thank you much, Dr. Z. Just to kind of reiterate what you were saying earlier, we were so appreciative to have a fall season when we weren't sure we were going to have that. So, for all the years that I've coached, I mean, perhaps, one of the most rewarding years ever. And just to kind of add on, I mean, our athletes did such a great job showing up, following all the protocols, just staying safe, making sure they were doing the right things so that the season would continue. And it's not just, it wasn't just the boys soccer team, it was the girls soccer team, it was the football team, the tennis program, cross country, everything. So, it was really great. Really have to give a big thanks to Mr. Morrell, for doing a fantastic job and supporting our programs, so I can't say enough for what he did for us this year. But we just had a very good season. We finished the season 13-4. We were undefeated in the white division. We played a very competitive schedule. So we made it to the semifinals of the state tournament. We ran into a very tough Elizabeth team in the semifinals. But we were blessed with some really good players this year. Sebastian Salazar finished the year with 24 goals. He had about 8 assists. He was an all GMC player, all white division. He was an all white division player as a junior. in all my years of coaching, and it's been a lot of years, but I've never had a player who's scored so many goals. I mean, 24 goals is tremendous. We also had a tremendous junior by the name of Jervin Umanzor, who many coaches just spoke out about his just individual ability, his technical ability. And we're really hopeful that he's going to have a great year for us next year. He was all GMC, all white division. We had two other players who were selected to all white division. Junior Kenny Aguilar, who will be coming back and hopefully will give us a lot of support next year. And a senior, Nico Leone, who, as a matter of fact, his father got a job in Georgia, and his mother and himself stayed here to play the soccer season. And once our last game was over, he wound up going back to Georgia to reunite with his father. So
Any way he could commute next year for us?
well, he's a senior, so.
Oh, okay. That may be a problem. Even the commute may be a little long too.
True. But I mean, just the dedication and the discipline of all of our players was just wonderful. And I just have to, give a shout out to our coaches too. Coach Waddell, who's coached with me for about 10 years now. And Coach Rohal has been with me for about 7 years and have done a fantastic job. So just a big shout out to them.
Well, thank you, Coach. Just very quickly, I do want to mention, just for a point of order, we're going to do football next month. So we're just going to end with you after soccer. We do want to thank you, your assistant coaches, Coach Carroll, assistant coaches, Coach Fitzpatrick and his assistant. I do want to also thank our high school principal. We know how Mr. Morrell did a great job and working with our nursing staff, working with our training staff to follow the protocols. I want to thank our principal as well. Can we ask everyone to mute? I guess I got to mute everyone. We do want to thank you. So I just want to thank Mr. Neller. I know Mr. Morrell worked with Mary Ellen and the nurses and the training staff, and they've been recognized many times. Mr. Neller only seems to get the calls when the transformer blows or there's no connection. So I want to just say I saw him at many of the games, and I know how proud he is. So, Mr. Neller, are you on? I don't know if you are on. If you're not, I'm sure.
I am on, Dr. Z.
Well, I just want to thank you, Mr. Neller, because we recognize Mr. Morrell did an outstanding job, the nursing staff, the training staff, our coaches. But as principal, I want to thank you for it's been a tough go. I know we say that the school is haunted sometimes, right? With all the big breaks, transformers, connections, whether it's mold or things that we've been dealing with over the last couple of years. But you've really led the school and kept everyone together. So I want to thank you for that. And
I just want to congratulate our athletes and our coaches. And I just want to say that nothing made me happier this fall than to see them back on the field. And, like Mr. Morrell said, these kids followed the rules. They did everything the right way. And we never had to shut down a sport. And I'm in tremendous gratitude to Mr. Morrell, to the coaches, and to the players. And it was just great to see them happy and to be able to have their season. So congratulations to everyone.
Absolutely.
Terrific. Thank you, Mr. Neller, and thank you again, coaches, and Mr. Morrell and Mary Ellen, our health office team, our training staff. Congratulations. And of course, players, those are still on. Thanks for representing your school, your families, and yourself so well. So we're going to move on. We're going to do football, board members. We're going to do football next month. We'll get some coaches on. Coach Sidepod had a little detour and was not able to make it tonight. And so we wanted to make sure the head coach was available, and the players certainly understand. So we'll have our players and football coaches next month. Without further ado, I did ask Miss Rumbo, who's the chair of our North Brunswick Township High School Hall of Fame. A little more than a year ago, we had a great induction ceremony, inducting 3 members to our newly formed High School Hall of Fame. It's an all-encompassing Hall of Fame. It's not just athletics, although an athlete can be inducted, a coach can be inducted, and we had a year and a half ago, a athlete inducted and 2 other leaders in the business world. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Ms. Rumbo to do a quick presentation because we need to continue to get this out there. The narratives are so powerful. The alumni, the graduates, the stories are wonderful. We need to continue to honor those folks that have come through our hallways and serve as a living and a tangible evidence of the power of North Brunswick Township High School and the school district. So with that, Ms. Rumbo, can you take away? I'll get rid of my screen and it's all yours.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Zakowski. I will share my screen as well.
And I'm going to ask Ms. Soroka to continue to let people in. I'm going to give you.
Will do.
Did I give you the power yet, Ms. Soroka? I'm looking at. I can't find your name. Do this. There you are. Okay, Ms. Soroka, you're co-host.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zakowski. Welcome to board members, everybody tuning in tonight. As Dr. Zakowski mentioned, we had a great first year of our new initiative for the North Brunswick Township High School Hall of Fame. So tonight we're using this as our launch pad to get going with the next year of this. Again, last year, due to the pandemic and closures and the timing, we were unable to do this. So we're really excited to launch this coming Monday, February 1st, the next induction of our new all-encompassing Hall of Fame. And just as a point of reference, I'm the chairperson of the encompassing NBTHS Hall of Fame, and I'm also a graduate. Besides being an administrator and former teacher in district, I am a graduate of North Brunswick Township High School. So I'm thrilled to be able to continue to chair this great initiative. As you can see here, the mission of our new encompassing Hall of Fame is to recognize individuals, living or deceased, who have distinguished themselves by their contributions to North Brunswick Township High School, to society, and or in their field of work, study, athletics, or service. There are areas of recognition. Again, as Dr. Zakowski mentioned, the new Hall of Fame is all-encompassing. Although we do continue to recognize athletics as one of the categories, we've also expanded to include business and professional, distinguished service, humanities, medicine, science, and technology, and also lifetime recognition of service to North Brunswick Township High School. And again, as you can see, these are some of our criteria. Also, one of the important points of our criteria is this year, the 2021 nominees, you have to have provided or attended or provided service at NBTHS from 1975 to 2011. So we take it back. You have to be out 10 years. So we look at criteria in terms of exemplary achievements and recognition, leadership qualities, meritorious contributions to society, and outstanding citizenship. So part of our process is the inductees, once we go through all the nomination forms, the committee reviews the inductees, reviews the nominations, any supporting documentation, awards, citations that have come with the nominations. And each inductee must receive 80% of a committee's vote. It's just a simple yes or no ballot. It's anonymous by the committee members, and it generates, and we know who's received 80% of the vote, and then they are the inductees for that year. What we do is also any of those nominations that make it to that last round but do not receive that 80%, they remain eligible and active for the following year, which will happen from the previous year that we did this to this year. So again, just to give you a little information about our committee, I am the chairperson, and I just gave away my age. I am the class of 94 from MBTHS. We have Dr. Z sits on as an expecto member, our MBTHS Alumni Relations Chairperson, and then we have 12 graduates spanning from all decades of MBTHS. So in the fall, we had our initial planning meeting. We are going to launch on Monday via the website, social media. We're going to put out to all the schools. We're going to broadcast this on the daily broadcast.
That's that morning broadcast, Abe. I know our ratings are up to about, I think there are probably 22 viewers from Channel 15. So that's 22 more. We're going to have Amy and Miss Guadagnino, who's one of our members. She's also on the council, talk about it because she joins us on the broadcast. So Amy, get ready next week. You could become a star.
I'm very excited. And so we will be accepting nominations, both there's an online form and there's also a link to a paper ballot for mail-in from February 1st until March 19th. And then in the spring, the committee gets back together and we start going through the process of reviewing the nominations and starting to select and voting for those inductees. And by June, we will officially announce our new inductees for this year, a press release, and hopefully, you know, once again, we had a wonderful ceremony luncheon in the high school in the MRC. It really was a beautiful event, a fantastic event, and we really hope that we're going to be able to do that again at some point. So again, nominations open this Monday. We'll be getting the word out via all kinds of different media platforms. And again, word of mouth helps too. And we're really just excited to be able to, even in this state that we're in, we are able to still keep this great initiative going.
I just want to say thank you, Ms. Rumbo. I just ask everyone, I'm glad that we have a great audience tonight. It's the key to this is really getting the word out, getting folks to nominate others. I know Mr. Bush, who is our attorney, is a graduate. I think, was it class of 97, Mr. Bush? Right, Mr. Bush, you're on? I believe you're on.
I am on. Sorry, I couldn't it's not like I haven't been doing Zoom since March, right? I couldn't find the button. Yes, class of 95.
95, I was close, but so the point,
I should have gone with it.
The point of it, yeah, you were in advanced classes. I thought it took 2 years extra to graduate. But the point is, Mr. Bush nominated one of the finalists who was selected, as did Mr. Ligori, others in the community, and folks are, the nominees don't live in North Brunswick, don't live in New Jersey. We really want to do a wide sweep of the wonderful stories. And it doesn't have to be, again, that star athlete. Although a star athlete could be someone. Our last of the three nominees, John Sipod, his distinguished service in the state police, along with his athletic accomplishments in the when he was at the high school level and at the college level, allowed us to overwhelmingly select Mr. Sipod. So we're looking for those great stories, and we're looking for the really diversity of achievements. They're great stories. It doesn't always have to be a doctor or a lawyer or a great athlete. It could be someone, we received someone who never went to college but owns and did successful in their area of auto mechanics, for example. We had nominees. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for those great success stories, those tangible stories where students can meet and see that these successful people, every walk of life, walk through the halls of North Brunswick Township High School. So thank you, everyone. We'll keep it going. We'll keep getting, but if you know anybody, a story, it doesn't take long. Fill out the application. We can't select them if we don't get the applications. So help us out, and we thank you. I don't know, Mr. Ligori, as a board member on that committee, I don't know if you want to say anything about it, or if not, we'll move forward. And I know Ms. Toth, this is initiative under the Community Relations Committee, so I don't know if you want to add to anything to Ms. Rumbo's presentation. And thank you, Ms. Rumbo.
Thank you.
No, no. So I think we covered it. So Madam President, I'm going to go back to sharing the screen and get back to the agenda, to the work at hand.
Thank you, Ms. Rombo, for sharing all that information with us. Ms. Keefe, you want to take item number 6, please?
Yes, Madam President, I would like to make a motion to approve the board minutes from the conference regular public Zoom meeting from December 22nd, 2020, and the reorganization Zoom meeting from January 4th, 2021. And the conference regular. No.
Second.
That's tonight. Sorry. I just moved the page. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brockman, it was you, right? That heard?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
The minutes are accepted.
Thank you. Do we have any communications this evening?
No, Madam President, I'll include my communications or updates in my report.
Okay. Any reports tonight for old business,
Not at this time.
new business?
Again, it will include my administrative report, Madam President.
At this time, we're open
Yes.
to administrative report. Look at that.
Yes, so I want to report out to the community via this live Zoom meeting. I know the principals have been reporting various classes have been closed. Linwood 5th grade will go all virtual through February 10th, returning February 11th. We had a positive COVID, and with using abundance of caution, we did contact tracing. I want to thank Mary Ellen and her nurses doing the contact tracing, the phone calls, and thank the cooperation of our staff due to potential compromise of some of our staff members and not able to cover the classes, and the issues of a student who through content changing classes moving around, we thought it was wise and prudent to go do the 14 days for the 5th grade. So 6th grade will continue at Linwood. I wanted everyone to know 5th grade will go virtual through February 10th, return Tuesday, February 11th. I want to mention to the public, today we had we honored on a broadcast, the mayor's broadcast in the morning, Coach Ed Brahini. On Sunday, January 10th, Coach Ed Brahini was inducted into the New Jersey Scholastic Coaches Hall of Fame for more than 400 wins in basketball, 250 wins in golf. I want to congratulate Coach Brahini again. I want everyone to recognize that over 30 years, Coach Brahini has been coaching the boys basketball and the boys and girls golf, as we have a number of young ladies joining our team over the years. And we, for the first time, have an official assistant coach trying to build the girls program at the golf level. So Coach Brahini, congratulations, a Hall of Famer. The only difference, I told him, in the North Brunswick Hall of Fame, he has to not be affiliated with the school. It's after his retirement that he could be considered like other coaches and other athletes and other contributors to the, because lifetime service, our our faculty, our coaches, those who've contributed philanthropically, athletically, musically, and academically, of course, will always be considered. And that's where that lifetime service category comes into play. So again, congratulations, Mr. Brahini. Next month, look forward to bringing Ms. Pendleton on, as we had a number of DECA students honored for their achievements in their competitions. So we'll have not only the football team next month, but Mrs. Pendleton, as I receive communication about the DECA achievement. We want to make sure we get those students recognized and highlighted for their contribution and their success in the their competition in the DECA and the business format that they compete in. So with that, Madam President, that concludes my report, concludes my update, and I will turn it back over to you for the administrative reports and student reports. I mean, committee reports and student reports.
Do we have any committee reports this evening?
Madam President, I'd like to give a report on the Community Relations Committee meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Toth. Please go ahead.
Absolutely. So the Community Relations Committee met last Wednesday, January 20th. We had a great meeting as Dr. Bert Mendelbaum gave a presentation on COVID-19 and the COVID vaccine. Want to thank everyone that was in attendance for that. That could also be viewed on the district's YouTube page. But before the presentation, we discussed that NBTHS and NBTMS athletic events will be recorded and streamed on the YouTube page for the district and Channel 15 because of the attendance restrictions due to COVID-19. And we also discussed the Hall of Fame launch, which again, Ms. Rumbo, thank you so much for going into that. The launch again is Monday, February 1st. The best way to advertise something, I believe, is word of mouth. So please spread the word on that. Happy to be a part of that committee as well. We have info on all of our social media platforms and the district website. So we look forward to launching that and definitely look forward to being a part of it. That concludes my report this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Great stuff. Any other reports this evening?
Yes, the Personnel Committee has a report.
Please, thank you.
Hi, good evening, North Brunswick Township. The Personnel Committee met yesterday, January 26th, and we wish to report with regret the retirements of 3 of our seasoned and dedicated public employees, as noted on the agenda. We want to thank every one of them for their service to our students and to our community. We also accept the resignation of 2 employees, 1 part-time employee and 1 teacher. We also thank them for their service to North Brunswick Township. And we're pleased to report a new appointment of a PE teacher as noted in the agenda, along with 2 non-certificated hires. We welcome them all to their new positions. We are glad to report the retention of 3 of our long-term substitutes, which is critical as we navigate the consequences of the pandemic, which sometimes require us to pivot at a moment's notice. There has been 1 change in assignment, as also noted on the agenda, along with 2 employees picking up 6th period classes. Finally, the agenda also reflects some FMLA leaves and some FFCRA leave under the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. As the community is well aware, the families that have opted to return in person have done so. And we want to thank the staff for their cooperation and their diligence. We also want to thank the district for their transparency and their communication as to how everything is proceeding thus far. That concludes it, and at the appropriate time, we would recommend that the personnel action items be adopted on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. James.
Any other?
Madam President, I have 2 reports this evening, one for Mr. Brooks for the Curriculum Committee and one for the Negotiations Committee.
Thank you.
The Curriculum Committee met on January 20th. We discussed the return to school for the students that are in the hybrid model and the revision of the schedules to accommodate that hybrid schedule. The pre-K to 8 students had returned on Tuesday, June 19th.
January.
9 to 12 returned on Wednesday, the 20th. The teachers that are teaching, say, a math class in the morning are teaching that same class in the afternoon. We discussed the student growth objectives and the executive order by Governor Murphy that the SGOs are now no longer part of the evaluation process for the staff, but we have requested that they still complete the SGOs. We also discussed the Rutgers and Middlesex County student teachers. There's currently 23 Rutgers students 2 days a week. And then there are 10 Middlesex County students that are all virtual for that setting. We discussed extra supports at the high school. We discussed things like for the honors and CP programs and addressing any failures that are occurring at the student level and providing those students with extra supports. We discussed the Rutgers Business Youth Program that some of our high school students have participated in. And then we also briefly started to discuss the budget planning process. That concludes the curriculum committee report, Ms. Gonzalez. The negotiations committee met on January.
Ms. Keefe, can I just add?
Sure.
Not only Middlesex County student teachers or student observers, our Rutgers student teachers are all virtual. We will not allow these student teachers in the buildings. So they're cooperating through the virtual. So I just want to make sure that was, just want to make that point.
Thanks, Dr. Z. The negotiations committee met on January 12th regarding our negotiations with our administrative union. And that concludes the report for the negotiations team.
Thank you very much, Ms. Keefe. Any additional committee reports?
Yeah, Madam President, we had a student services meeting Monday night, this past Monday night, the 25th. Dr. Z gave a return to school update. The amount of children are about 1,400. We expected about 1,600, so we're even lighter than we expected. He did give some numbers with COVID, which have since changed, obviously, per his administrative report. He gave a little talk about the NBTHS PSATs and, what adjustments were being done with the weather, which is passed. We learned that Dr. Z will never be a weatherman. And had a little bit of communication about the special ed program and how it's working out. We have about 300 special ed students in the district, and pretty successful with what we've had so far, given the challenges, and seems to be doing well, both in virtual and in person work that's going on with the special ed students. That's about all we had. Thank you.
Mr. Brockman.
Madam President, I can give a Business Operations Committee update. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
The Business Operations Committee met this past Monday, January 25th at 5 o'clock. Among the items that we discussed, we're looking forward to an update on our audit. There have been some delays due to COVID, so more to come on the audit. There will be a hearing, just like always, during a public meeting sometime in the near future. We also discussed the ongoing Linwood Phase 2 construction. Mr. Campizano joined us and gave us an update, which was really a lot of good news. We're continuing to hear that we're on schedule, no real issues with this facet of the project. Proud to announce that there's no change orders on the agenda this evening as well. The flooring is being prepared. The canopy over the new entrance for the ECC will go up in a couple of weeks. And then once the winter is done, we'll continue work out in the parking lot. So really a lot of progress on the Linwood project. We discussed the high school transformer update. As many of you may know, we had an issue and Mr. Carroll reported to us that the fixes to that faulty transformer have been completed. It's now fully functional. He is working on the billing with our insurance carrier. To get technical, it was fixed with some coils, new coils, with the assistance of a third-party high voltage specialist. The cost was probably a little under $100,000, which was really a job well done, because it could have cost nearly $500,000 or more to replace that transformer. We then talked a little bit about the budget, much like some of the other committees. The governor's address is going to be on Tuesday, February 23rd. 48 hours later, he usually announces the state aid amounts for all of the districts. So we're looking forward to that very eagerly. We should say that about a little less than a month after that, on Saturday, March 20th at 9 o'clock, we will have our public hearing on our budget. So Saturday, March 20th, 9 a.m. It usually goes for anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 hours, because we get really in depth. So the public is invited. Notice will be going out for that very soon. We also discussed from a budgetary standpoint, in terms of our CARES funding, the federal and state government want to ensure that we're spending what was allocated to us. We've encumbered everything that we were given. So we're obviously fine. We're just not sure why they're asking. And we're hoping that it won't impact state aid if it's not spent or encumbered. We're not really sure, but it's a moot point because we've encumbered everything that we were given. So just makes us leery when they come around and ask them questions. That's it for the Business Operations Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Liguori.
Madam President, I'd like to report out on the Policy and Legislation Committee. The Policy and Legislation Committee met on Monday, January 25th, and topics of the discussion centered around the acceptance or acceptable use of our computer networks and computer resources, which are Policy 2361 and Regulation 2361. They are currently being reviewed, and they will be, the findings and or recommendations will be reported out in forthcoming board meetings. We also discussed the seizure action plans as well as the procurement procedures for school nutrition programs. Both of these are being presented for the second reading as part of tonight's agenda. And additionally, we discussed a number of policy regulations that are up for recommendation, and there are a number of those. I won't take the time to go through the entire list. I will ask everyone to take a look at the agenda. And there are a list of policy recommendations for they're either new or they're recommendations that need to be revised and or abolished. And Madam President, that ends my policy report.
Mr. Brooks, as a point of context, the long list is not on tonight's agenda. The board members will get it on your agenda notes of consideration for new policies from our Strauss SMA Alert Company. And policy 2361 typically is a hearing required by statute that we open to the public regarding computer use, acceptable computer use. It's not so perfunctory in a world of virtual education. So we have Ms. Soroka and her committee looking at it. So make sure that when we have our public hearing, we can make it a little bit more robust. And so we're taking a little bit more time, but by statute 2361 will be on a board meeting for a public hearing just on that policy alone. So I thank you for reporting that. I just wanted to add some context to that policy, why it's standalone.
No, Dr. Z, thank you very much for that context. And Ms. Keith, thank you very much for reporting out on curriculum. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
Any other reports this evening?
I think, Madam President, I don't, there's so many people on, I don't know, but as you know, we have two wonderful student reps, Sarah and Ojal. Are either or both on tonight?
I'm here.
Oh,
Yes, Ojal.
Ojal, I know, I always say it wrong. You only corrected me 10 times, and I deserve to be corrected, so thank you, Ojal. You're up. Welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well.
Okay, so the SGO Virtual Talent Show was streamed to students and staff on Friday, January 22nd. Students submitted videos that were judged by our teacher panel, and there was a popular vote as well. SGO and the class of 2024 are having a Gertrude Hawk fundraiser beginning on January 25th, and SGO proceeds will go to the Thirst Project, our charity for this year. We're closing in on the amount to build a freshwater well in Uganda, and the class of 2024 proceeds will go for their future class activities. Winter Pep Rally will take place February 8th to February 12th. Students will participate in Pajama Day, Flannel Day, Class Color Day, Superhero Day, and Blue and Gold Day. The Winter Pep Rally will be streamed to students on Friday, February 12th. And Key Club is collecting blessing bags to donate to local shelters. So far, we've collected over 40 bags, Key Club is also collecting supplies to be donated to local group homes for children and adults with developmental disabilities and brain injuries. And if Sarah's on, she can take it from here.
Sarah, are you there? Thank
Hi,
you.
everybody. I'm here. Nice to see you.
Hello.
All right. All right, so up next we have Model UN had another strong performance at the Columbia University Model UN conference. They won a total of 8 awards, 3 honorable mention, 3 verbal commendations, and 3 Rising Star Awards.
Wow.
Yeah, and lastly, our Push Club has begun their outreaches to our elementary schools.
Why don't you
Students gave
explain the Push
presentations
Club? Why don't you explain the Push Club to our millions of viewers, Sarah? It's such a wonderful program for our teachers, our students in the high school and elementary. Why don't you share a little bit?
Sure. So I'm not a part of Push, unfortunately, but it's basically it's student run, and it's an opportunity for high school students to reach out to the younger schools in Linwood and all of the elementary schools, really, to talk about drugs and cyberbullying and things like that. It's a really awesome program.
Terrific, terrific. I just want to mention to the board, Sarah, and our teachers on tonight, our staff members that are on tonight, our community, that Sarah was honored with one of the Martin Luther King Student Recognition Awards, and we had her on our broadcast, and she did an outstanding job. Congratulations, Sarah, for representing the school and yourself and the ideals of Martin Luther King. And I got to tell you, Sarah, I still am impressed. You and your partner, and I always mention mispronounce his name as well, but you did a great job. Your comments were well received and spot on. And I think the mayor's quote was, you're not our future leaders. We consider you our leaders of today. So thank goodness. And we were just talking about Sarah, and we have our fingers crossed. If Cornell knows anything about anything, they'll give you your acceptance letter as soon as possible. So good luck, Sarah. Ojal, right? Ojal, right? Did I say it right? Yeah, Ojal. Thank you again, and good luck to you. And we appreciate your report. Madam President, our 2 wonderful students, that's their report as well.
Thank you.
So I'll go back to sharing, but we're going to need to accept the reports, Madam President. Let me go back to sharing the agenda.
I was about to ask for a motion to approve
Beautiful.
administrative committee and student reports.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Brockman. Mr. Brockman?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you. No problem. Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Liguori?
Yes.
Ms. Rubin?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
All the reports are accepted.
Thank you.
Madam President, as you know, we normally would have 2 reviews, 2 meetings. One that we do a kind of a workshop, and we would tour the schools, and we're not touring schools at this point. Just for example, the 500 people aboard tonight would not be able to attend. We'd have to limit that. So we're staying virtual. So we combine our action meeting with our workshop meeting. So before we do a consent agenda, we do want to do 2 things: review it as a board. We'll go very quickly because the board members have looked at this. And then we're going to have a public session on just the agenda items. And then we'll do, hopefully, we'll do a consent agenda. So Madam President, with your permission, I will start scanning for the board members. Please stop me, board member, if you have any questions about the agenda. As I'm going through this page, board members, and it just warms my heart to see that we're still working to do the Alchemist back, the drama, the Rockathon. So we're just so happy to see the efforts, and conversely, I'm sad to see some of our employees, longtime counselors, and our teacher leaving us to retirement. And then, as you all know, we have our workshops listed. And you can see the grant funded of our workshops. We thank Ms. Rumbo for making sure that our title monies go to great PD for our staff. And this, just for our new folks, our virtual Middlesex County Arts High program. We're a big participant in that, where our students get these extra courses they have to audition for: poetry, photography, acting, and so on, visual arts. So we're so proud of our accepted students: creative writing, vocal music, Broadway, acting +2, part 2. We're also very happy the grant funded Volt Athletic Performance Program, the personalized fitness program, started by our athletic director and phys ed supervisor at the high school, Mr. Morrell, funded by the grant, Title IV monies. And
Excuse me, Dr. Z?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just have a question concerning the visual arts.
Sure.
Will that be part of the STEAM Academy?
No. So, let me take it back. So this motion, that visual art, this is a separate, these are students from all over the county.
Okay.
And they're typically, it's hosted in other schools after or during the course of a day, where students have to audition to get into these highly specialized and focused programs.
Okay.
Now they're virtual, but the visual arts, poetry, they're taught by professionals. There's like I said, an audition. So they're not part of our academies, but it's an opportunity for our students, again, as we always do, give them opportunity to compete at the county level and go to different opportunities that present themselves. So it's sort of an all-star class where people have to audition to get to that level.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question. Thank you. So I'm glad I could clarify that for you. And then you could see some of our monetary donations. Bendari family, they've been such a great supporter of Parsons. And as you can see, they're donating money. They're very humble. They didn't want to come on tonight. I don't know if Miss Whalen wanted to say anything about it. I don't know if she's on tonight, but they're very humble. We're so happy for the donation of musical instruments from our East Brunswick the music department, an East Brunswick resident. There's a connection to our program and Mr. Egan, so we thank them for that. And then, of course, an East Windsor resident also donating it, and that's Mr. Egan has all the connections, and I know there's a connection. I don't know if Mr. Egan wants to talk about it if he's on tonight, but we have to list these wonderful donations. And of course, here's the obsolete. We have everything itemized and everything inventory. So anytime we get rid of anything in a public school, we have to have it listed, and as the board has to approve the get rid of it or disposal of it. And everyone received, we had 2 cases of HIB that we're asking you to accept tonight. And we also have our board secretary treasury report, our budget status notes that the board members have, our finance items. And as Mr. Brooks said, the policy, second reading for adoption, our transportation, for some special needs students, some other students. And so that will conclude the review, Madam President. And it gets a little confusing, but here it's only an open number 11, I believe, is simply a public session for agenda items only. And just for a point of clarification, if you're first time joining us, the reason why there's an open session, the board's going to have a consent agenda. And when you have a consent agenda, we want to give anyone a chance to ask the board to consider anything about an agenda item before they vote on it. So that's why we do a review. That's why right now, Madam President, we have a public session on agenda items only. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to turn to Mr. Toro. I know you're on YouTube, Mr. Toro. We'll give some time. We have 383 participants on the Zoom meeting, and we do have people at YouTube. So I'll wait to see if there's any questions from YouTube or on our Zoom meeting tonight on agenda items only. For any item, it'll be later in the process in our agenda approval. So.
Hi, Dr. Z. This is Mrs. Whalen.
Hi, Miss Whalen. How are you? I'm glad you're there. I knew you were there, so I just thought.
Yes, thank you.
Take it away.
On behalf of Parsons School, very much appreciative of the Bandari family for their very generous donation of $15,000. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy.
They're celebrating. They're celebrating.
Over the next 5 years to Parsons School. And we're very excited to embark on our sensory hallway project. Not only for our special needs students, but really all students can benefit from a project of that nature, and to be able to do our entire school all at one time with the donation from his family. We are forever, indebted to them. So we thank them, and we hope once it is complete and we are at a better time with COVID, that we can invite him and his family into the school to thank him appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Whalen. Mr. Toro, anybody on YouTube about agenda items? I don't see anybody virtually raising their hand or non-virtually or raising their real hand. So I don't see anything. Madam President, we're going to go back to the agenda. And so we just do need a motion to close this public portion on agenda items only.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion related to the agenda items.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks, Ms. Brooks,
We'll go back to him.
yes, Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
and Mr. Brooks.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. It seems like mute gets stuck sometimes.
No worries, thank you. This public session of the agenda items is closed.
Well, that's terrific, because we're going to go right to the next part. Number 13, Madam President, we do need a motion.
Mr. Duran Harris, would you take this motion, please? Remember the consent agenda?
Yes, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following consent agenda items: personnel, curriculum, miscellaneous, finance items 1 through 5, policy, and transportation as listed.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
All the motions have been approved.
Thank
So,
you.
Madam President, we're at this point. This is where everyone says, we just had a public session. That was on agenda items. Number 14, we're having a public session on any matter that anyone wants to bring before the board. So with that, I'm going to open up so we can see everyone, look for hands. Mr. Toro, please continue to monitor YouTube, and I'll monitor the Zoom participant. Oh, I see a virtual and a real hand. Our MBTEA president, Ms. Pasner, let me, you can unmute yourself and I'll lower your hand.
Great, thanks. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we do. We can, Beth. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm here again to discuss the reopening of schools in person. As you can see, I'm not alone tonight. We have almost 400 staff members who have joined us either via Zoom or YouTube. who are here to show their support for the statement that I have come to read tonight. We are here tonight to request that you discontinue the reopening of schools in person and return to the fully remote model that has been used since September until the number of cases have dramatically declined and the majority of our staff can be vaccinated. First, I want to acknowledge that North Brunswick is complying with NJDOH guidelines and is going above and beyond to accommodate our high-risk staff members and those with high-risk family members. As president of the MBTEA, I meet weekly with Dr. Zakowski and have had an extremely collaborative relationship during these highly unprecedented times for which I and my members are grateful for. However, it is our contention that although the district is taking the necessary precautions to keep COVID from spreading in the buildings, it is impossible to keep it out of the buildings altogether. This puts us all at risk. The most effective way to keep us safe is to keep us remote. It is also our contention that while North Brunswick has had essential staff in the buildings since August that will continue to work in the buildings, they are still safer when they have less possible exposure. All of the towns surrounding North Brunswick and most of the districts in Middlesex County that were supposed to reopen on January 19th delayed their in-person reopening. They cited the rising number of cases and the new, more highly contagious variant of COVID as the cause. The staff at both East and South Brunswick were told to take the time while they were on remote to keep themselves safe and to isolate themselves. I cannot fully express to you the disappointment our staff felt when they read those messages, knowing that they were not on the receiving end of them. When the NBTEA sent a letter expressing our concern for the reopening of schools on January 14th, there had been 325 positive cases in North Brunswick since the beginning of January. Tonight, there are 622 positive cases in North Brunswick for the month of January, and the month isn't over yet. That is a 91.38% increase in 12 days. Last week, Middlesex Borough announced that they will not reopen in-person learning until a date is set for staff vaccinations. In the last 24 hours, Middlesex has had 8 new COVID cases. North Brunswick has had 21. We need to stop acting like North Brunswick students and staff are not at risk. In our first week back, there were 3 buildings that had positive cases, which ultimately resulted in staff and students quarantining. According to the COVID dashboard on the district site, on January 19th, the day we returned in person, there were 80 students and 36 staff members that either had COVID or were subjected to a quarantine. By the end of the week on the 22nd, just 4 days into school, those numbers had climbed to 95 students and 59 staff members. And now a single case has forced an entire grade level and its teachers into a 14-day quarantine. And now the new, more contagious variants are found to be in New Jersey, which scientists are saying could be more infectious for children. We have been told that we are safe because so few students have opted to return to school, but we need to really look at why the numbers are so low. With the numbers in our county so high and new, more contagious variant of COVID around, 78% of the North Brunswick parents have opted to keep their children home because they do not feel safe sending their children to school. If 78% of the parents in North Brunswick don't feel safe sending their children to school, how can we be surprised that our staff doesn't feel safe going to school? And even now, as I speak to you, we are attending a Board of Ed meeting via Zoom and not in person. We have classes of students with the same amount of people required at a board meeting packed together socially distanced in smaller spaces than the boardroom at Maple Mead. And I point this out not to be disrespectful, but to shed light on the fact that until the numbers decrease dramatically and we are able to get large portions of our population vaccinated, that nowhere is safe right now. And we cannot pick and choose which spaces are more safe than others. Additionally, while there is optional testing for staff members, students are not tested consistently enough for schools to be safe, and as we know, they can be asymptomatic spreaders. Their all-remote model is not ideal, but there are many more difficulties with the current teaching model. We are currently having our staff members bring up their concerns to their building administrations. I do want to take this opportunity to express how proud I am of the staff of North Brunswick. They greeted and welcomed our students with smiling, masked faces and opened arms that were 6 feet apart. Students were unaware of the immense anxiety that the staff currently has. They were amazing professionals. They are amazing professionals who give their all to their students. However, their all should not have to include the risk of contracting a virus that could result in deadly consequences for them or their family members. However, for the first time, we have good news. The end is in sight. Dr. Mendelbaum, our district's pediatrician, he has said that the numbers are beginning to decrease, but we are not there yet. And while the numbers are still so high, our staff and our students are at risk. We have come so far to have us and to have us continue to be in person is an unnecessary risk, especially when North Brunswick has done its due diligence to keep everyone safe. As we have seen in other districts that have returned, sooner or later there will be an outbreak. Why would we wait for that to happen when it can be prevented by keeping us remote? I would rather be accused of being overly cautious than accused of not doing enough. And that is similar to what the superintendent of Edison told his staff last night when he delayed their in-person reopening to March 1st. Many of our staff members have already received their first vaccination or have made their appointments to be vaccinated. Therefore, I am respectfully requesting that North Brunswick shut down their in-person instruction and resume the all-remote model at this time until the numbers have significantly dropped and the majority of our staff can be vaccinated. And it is my sincerest hope that when we look back at this time next September, we will be able to proudly say that no one got COVID-19 because they caught it in a North Brunswick school. Thank you.
I don't know if you can see, Beth, there's a lot of muted, but a lot of claps coming on. So many people are muted. I don't see any other. Michael, any other comments? I'm just making sure I don't miss any virtual hands. Okay, Miss Rubin.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I don't normally come on during a public session, but I am today because I do have some sad news for all of you. Maybe it's more sad for me. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see at the end of the message. But today is actually going to be my last day on the board. I don't want to get upset at all, but I have been with the board for 5 years. And I first ran, I guess that would mean I first ran about 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. For all of my former teachers who are on, I was better in English and history than I was in math, so forgive my addition there. But please accept this as my formal notice of resignation from my position as board member on the North Brunswick Board of Education. These last 5 years have provided me not only an extended family, but close friends and invaluable experience for which I will be grateful for the rest of my life. The idea of leading not only this team, but also this wonderful community. I mean, there are 400, which is probably why I'm a little bit nervous, but there are 400 people on this meeting. So what a time to go out. It's normally 10% of this or something like that. So I'm a little, I'm glad to see the community that we have in North Brunswick. But just know that someone incredible and deserving of this position will come in with fresh eyes. And although I'm leaving on a wonderful note with all of these incredible memories after these 5 years, I will miss truly all of you, spending time together, getting to know all of the staff and students in a different way. As you guys probably know, I graduated in 2010 from NBTHS, and that was 11 years ago, which feels like it was 2 years ago. So I'm gonna have a moment with that later on. But just know I'm so humbled by this experience. And really the reason why I'm resigning is because I got engaged in 2020 and I put off leaving North Brunswick for as long as possible. But the time has come now that it is 2021. So finally, as a small token of my gratitude for not only the North Brunswick teachers and staff who shaped my education and my colleagues on the Board of Education, I am making a donation in the amount of $1,000. So I would like this donation to go to a graduating senior who has demonstrated excellence in leadership, academics, as well as community. When I was a senior, I actually received a very similar scholarship from Chartwell, so I figured it was a way to pay it forward. So I wish I could donate millions more. I don't have millions, but you know, when I do, I will certainly do as much as possible. So thank you so much for the opportunity and for this experience.
Wow.
Tracy, Okay, I'm verklempt. You are going to be sorely missed, but I know, and I appreciate that you had come to me in advance and shared this wonderful information with me. Wonderful that you are moving on to a new chapter of your life with someone who loves you and will support you the way you love and support them.
He's shaking his head, but he
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes, and I know you are relocating outside of North Brunswick and hence felt, that you needed to remove yourself from the Board of Education, but you will always be a part of this team, and we will always hold you in high regard for your contributions and just who you are. So anytime you're back home, you know where we are.
Yes, thank you.
Love you much, and this township thanks you for your service.
Well, and Tracy, thank you, Madam President. Tracy, it's been rumored that my ties are older than you, but I just have to say that even you're such a young professional, so composed. I believe
Education meeting in North Brunswick. I think they told
and Miss Mira, thank you. Tracy, class of 2008, am I correct?
2010.
10, okay, look at, I'm making you even older.
First that you graduated, right? Is that right?
No, I was 7, unfortunately.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So but I just want to say you came on and as a young board member, just out of college. I think you really showed your composure, your maturity. Even someone who's been a superintendent a long time, I have to tell you, I learned a lot. The way you handled yourself, your contributions to the personnel side, which is your chosen field. Even in our advanced ages, like myself, we still learn, and to lead, we have to learn every day. So thank you for your contributions, and thank you for the most generous, thoughtful pledge of $1,000 to some senior. I do want to mention that you received that Chartwell's Award. I do remember it when we started that scholarship. I want you to know that the Board of Education is a co-sponsor of that scholarship with Chartwell's. Everyone says Chartwell's, and we don't mind, but it's the Board of Ed and Chartwell's that co-sponsor it. So I think it's fitting that full circle, you became a board member, you're giving back to your district. You served it so well with distinction, and I know I share with our president and fellow board members a big thank you, big voice of gratitude. And they always say, once you're a board member, you're part of that fraternity. Be careful, you ever move back, we may have to recruit you. So
I'm
be
fine.
well, be safe, and be well. And thank you for all that you've done for this board.
Thank you.
I do see, Trace, I do have to move on because I do see Ms. Herrick has her hand raised.
Good evening. Forgive me if this would be inappropriate, but would it be okay if I said a few words about one of the retirees?
No, I think Ms. Herrick, is any matter you want to bring before the board? We got at a point of, because Beth was, everyone knows Beth, everyone might know you too, Jen. If you could just give your name, position, and, so we can have it for the record. Thanks, Jen.
My name is Jennifer Herrick, and I am the technology teacher at Judd Elementary and the vice president of North Brunswick Township Education Association.
Thanks, Jennifer.
So I just, saw the agenda, and I just would be remiss if I didn't say a few words about our wonderful counselor, Diane Lee, who is retiring, and I'm watching her on the screen right now. And so it's a big loss to our school. It's a big loss to our district. Diane Lee is one of those human beings that no matter what's going on in her life or what's going on in your life, she will make the time for you, for her students, for extended families. I could tell you the story without trying to get too emotional. I lost my house in a hurricane, Sandy, and Diane Lee came to my mother's home and took bags of laundry and washed it in her house and fixed my girl's American Doll hair, because that's the person Diane Lee is. And so I couldn't just let her be a name on a piece of paper. Diane Lee, it's all our loss, the children of Judd School's loss, but God bless, enjoy your retirement. Thank you.
Tarek, well said, well stated. And Ms. Lee, if you are on, we look forward to bringing you back. Hopefully you'll come back and we could also be more than a name on a paper. So thank you.
Thank you. That was really nice, Jen.
Where are you? Oh, good, you're here. Great.
Thank you.
Ms. Lee, please, the floor is yours.
Oh, I really didn't plan on speaking at all. And I have to tell you, seeing my name up there really, brought tears to my eyes as well. This is a bittersweet thing. And, of course, I didn't plan on speaking, but thank you to, of course, my JUD staff, to Dr. Zakowski, to the North Brunswick Board of Education. Everyone has included me as, a part of the North Brunswick community for almost 20 years. It has definitely been my pleasure, just to service our youngest student population and their families. And, I truly wish the best for, the current and the future North Brunswick staff and, the students, the families. And thank you, everybody. And thank you, Jen. That was very nice.
Ms. Lee, I'm so glad Jen took the time, because I don't know if anybody outside the world of education, we all know our high school counselors, the importance of college application and connections and schedules, the unheralded but day-to-day outstanding work of our elementary guidance counselors go often overlooked, not by those who are around those people who see the work they do, but many of us in the Ivory Tower and Central Law, we don't see it every day. We know it. We know the work. That's why the board has continued to support positions like that, because we know the invaluable, the immeasurable impact of you and our guidance counselor, all of our guidance counselors make on a daily basis. But Diane, certainly Judd, it's a sad day for all of us. We're mixed emotions that it's a wonderful day for you, well-deserved, but you're certainly going to be missed. You'll never be replaced, although we will continue the great work by looking for someone to step in that role. So thank you, Diane.
Absolutely. And thank you again. Thanks.
Okay, Madam President.
Deep breath.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, with mixed emotions, we're happy. So we do need to have a motion to close this public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
I think it was Mr. Brockman.
Second.
Ooh, that was quick. I think it was Haley and Tracy fighting on it. Take your pick.
All right, I got it. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Mr. Brockman.
Yes.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris.
Yes.
Ms. James.
Yes.
Ms. Keefe.
Yes.
Mr. Liguori.
Yes.
Ms. Rubin.
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
This session is closed.
Madam President, as we look to go into closed session, personnel matters, attorney-client privilege, I do want to mention that we're going to keep the world of Zoom, the general meeting open. We have a link from Mrs. Hawk, right, Rosie? You have you're going to give it to all board members.
It's out already. It's there. It's in their emails.
Okay, so board members is in your email. Ms. Hawk, also, did you include Ms. Rumbo and Ms. Engel?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
And Mr. Bush?
Yes, I did. Thank
Okay.
you.
So then we do need this motion read, number 15, Madam President?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I was responding to Ms. Rubin, who wanted to know if she should be involved in this vote. And
Oh, absolutely. I believe I'll let Mr. Bush take it. I think it's at the conclusion of, according to your resignation letter,
Mhm.
it was at the conclusion of this meeting, so you're still
Ms. Rubin is still a member of the board until
Yes.
she's not. Right.
All right.
And be careful, like the Corleone family, we may have to bring you back. No, just kidding.
Okay.
so I'm sorry, do we have a motion to go into the closed session?
If you want to read it or have someone else read the motion to go in closed session as prepared by our attorney.
Ms. Rubin, you want to do the honors one last time?
Sure. All right. Thank you. Should I read the whole section then?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 23, 1 PL 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presented exist, now therefore be it resolved by the North Brunswick Board of Education that the public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows: personal matters and attorney-client privilege. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effective immediately.
Okay, that's a motion. We need a second.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Durant Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Ms. Rubin,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
The Zoom link should be in your emails. And
Yes.
we can exit out of this one, out of the open session.
Yeah, I'm going to stop right here. That is, it's an open, we close the public portion of the meeting. Somebody just sent me a chat about responding to Miss Passner's comments. It's too late now for me to comment as we close that part, but certainly we will, as superintendent, words are been heard and truly considered. So I'll just leave it at that, Madam President. But I do want to tell everyone this will be open. The board is going to go into closed session. And I do want to give Mr. Toro full powers to be host, because I can leave without, then we don't lose connection. So Mr. Toro, I'm going to make you the host, okay? You are now the host. Everyone, have a good evening. You can stay there. We're going to go in closed session, come back to close the meeting. So board members, I would ask you to leave this meeting, go to your link for the closed session room. The board, we just finished closed session at this time. There's that information is still in executive minutes. So we have no further business. There'll be no action taken. So I think we got to go, Madam President, to number 16. We have to officially have a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Ms. LaGorrie
Second.
and Ms. Keefe.
Thank you. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks, Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Miss James,
Yes.
Miss Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. LaGorrie,
Yes.
Miss Rubin,
Yes.
Miss Toth,
Yes.
Miss Gonzalez.
I saw Gloria here. While Mr. Brooks is coming in. I thought I saw Gloria come in.
She's here. She's waiting. You're on mute, Gloria.
Oh,
Miss Gonzalez, can we,
Yes.
yes, and Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Thank you. We are back in open session.
well, I think, Madam President, we just have the adjournment to say, I just want to say to Ms. Passer, thank you for your comments. You know, we have a board that cares, a community that cares. I look forward to discussing one-on-one the next couple of days, what's going on and the feelings and how we can continue to work together, because we heard your words and we heard the staff, and we certainly will continue to work together. So thank you for your time and effort, and we thank everyone for waiting. There's a lot to discuss, and we know it's a late night, so we hope you didn't have to stay too long, but a lot of board business to take care of. So unfortunately, the only thing we have to do is adjourn, Madam
Yes.
President, number 17.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Miss James,
Yes.
Miss Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. LaGorrie,
Yes.
Miss Rubin,
Yes.
Miss Toth,
Yes.
and Miss Gonzalez.
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Night.
All right. Have a good night.
Safe.